Hello, good day. Let's start this new lesson for Unreal Engine 5.7.2.
Hello, good day. In this video, I will show you how to combine the third-person shooter template with the combat template in Unreal Engine. We are using Unreal Engine 5.7. So let's get started. First, we will need to create two separate projects, one from each template. That way, we will copy logic from one template and use it in another template. So what we'll do is go to new project, go to first person, and then when we go to the variant, we will select arena shooter. So you'll create one project and you'll just call this arena. Doesn't really matter what you call it because it's just to get information from this. Note, I will use the combat template as our base. So we'll be taking blueprints, well, nodes and information from the blueprints for this game, the arena shooter, and we'll be pasting it in the combat template. So next, let's open another Unreal project. Also, this is a minor thing you can check. Well, I want to check to make sure it's loading from the correct map. So you go to edit, then go to project settings, then you go to maps and modes and select variant shooter. For level 1 arena shooter. And just press play while it's compiling shaders. So this is working. So this is working, so I'll come out of this. So now I'll open a new project. So go to a new project, go to third person, and for the variant, choose combat. You call this combat V1. We just give it a name, it doesn't really matter. So the combat version has appeared. So now let's open a level. Go to variant combat, open level 1 combat. And that's it here. You can just go to edit, project settings, go to maps, and choose level 1 combat. So that way we are sure it's opening up this level. And to verify, this is the character here. You press left click and you can do the sponge. So this is working. So now we are back in the arena shooter project. So now what we'll do, we'll go to the variant shooter. We'll go to this folder here. So go to content, select the variant shooter. We'll right click and we will to migrate. Select migrate, click OK. And we'll migrate everything to the combat game. So it'll be combat 0 version 1. Go to content, select folder. Okay. And asset already exists. So this thing, do you want to override it? So with regards to the overriding of these files, click apply to all, then click no. So the migration has completed. So let's go to the shooter project. So let's go to the content drawer. We can see we have a folder for the variant combat and we have a folder for the variant shooter. So now what's happened is that we now have this project here with arena shooter. This is no longer necessary. So we'll close this folder here. Well, we'll close that project. So we only have the combat system open here. Well, combat project open here. So now let's go to this, the shooter folder. You go to blueprints. You'll go to pickups. We have this BP shooter pickup. You'll drag this into the level. Select this. That's it here. Didn't even realize I was in play. So just select this and drag this into the level here. Then with this selected in the details panel here, go down and open up weapon type, and we will set the weapon type. So to set the weapon type, you go down here by the row name, click this, and we select rifle. We'll use rifle in this tutorial. So if you press play, we see the rifle appears. Now, if you walk into the rifle disappears, but we're not actually picking it up. When you walk back away, we see the rifle appears. That is because the pickup for the rifle, the pistol, and the grenade launcher, it's not talking to the blueprint for this character. This character is the combat character. It is not the shooter character. So we need to make some changes. So what we need to do is to look for the blueprint for our character. So we can just go to world settings. Now, if you don't know how to find world settings, it's right here. We can also go to window and then click here, world settings. But I already have the world settings. Well, I already have it selected here. So what I'll do, so we have game mode here. We can select this, well, open up this, and we need to go to the pawn, well, player controller class. We'll go to this here. Well, that's the player controller. So this is the character we want, combat character. So that I'll select here and open it up here. So apparently just send me to the folder with the character. Okay, so I want this to dock in this tab here, so I'll just make a slight change. I'll close this up. I'll go to edit, editor preferences, type asset. I think it's asset editor open location. Asset editor open location, change from default to main window, and then I can close off this. I can save because I haven't saved in a while and Unreal Engine likes to crash. And I need to look for, let's say, default pawn. The default pawn will be this. That's this one here, the blueprint for our character. Double click and open it up. So that's it here. So first, we'll add a new interface to this character here, this character blueprint. So while we in this blueprint, go to here, class settings, and then we need to go by implemented interfaces. We'll go by here, open this up. Well, we could just add, type weapon, select this one, BPI weapon holder, and that will make it appear here. So you can click here for the time being. We can see these are the interfaces. Now, if we go to here, type weapon, select this. Now we see the functions have increased because we now add an additional interface. Well, that's a blueprint interface. By adding the weapon pickup interface, by adding such interface to this blueprint for our character, this allows our character to implement whatever functions or that are currently are in existence in such interface. So this will allow us to pick up the weapon. So now we have to go back to the shooter project. So I'll reopen it. So the project is opened. So now I'll go to here, world settings, and I'll find the BP for our character. So I'll go to here. That's it here. I'll double click and open it up. So I could dock this into the window now. I'll just work with this like this for now. You know what? I'll just dock it in here. So I just go to Asset Editor Open Location, and I'll put this in main window. And I'll just close this, and open it back. Double click and open this. We'll open a tab up here. Then what we'll do, we'll select all these nodes on the right side. We'll press Ctrl C to copy. And then we'll go to the next project. We'll go to the combat project. Then we just pull back across here, just create some space, and then we press Control V. So when you see this error message appear, just leave this at like do nothing and press confirm, and everything will just paste here. Well, I'll press C, highlight everything, and press C. So I'll create a comment. I just create a comment so I can move this easier. I'll compile. Okay, we can't compile, but we will save. And the reason why we can't compile, there are some errors. We'll fix those errors. So let's zoom in. So we can see here there's a function missing. We right click. You're supposed to right click and create a matching function. That's it here. So we'll double click and open this. So we could break this for the time being. So this function is empty. So what we need to do is copy the nodes from the shooter template. So I'll go and get the shooter template. This is the function here. So you can see we have all this information. Press Control C, copy, then go to the other project, combat, press Control V, paste. So just drag this around. So I can delete this return node. And then I'll just have to connect this purple to purple and white to white and compile. So I see this error here. What I'll do, right click, and I'll just promote this to a variable. Compile. All right, this error is gone. And can go back to here, the event graph. Error is gone here. So we're making progress. Can save for now. So we need to fix the missing variables. So right click, promote a variable, compile. You see, let's solve this problem right here. Which other variable is a problem? I don't think we need the first person mesh, but let me just check. So let's go to here for this first person mesh. We're playing a third person game, so we can just break this, press Alt on the keyboard and left click. So we're just breaking this for now, just to get rid of this error. Still a few errors to correct. So we have this player controller. So we can't just right click and adjust this. You need to do some more copy and pasting to address this. So definitely you need to go back to the first person, well, the arena shooter, and go to the event graph. So what we'll do, we'll go here. So that's it here, initialize for new controller. So it had be these nodes here. So what we'll do, we'll copy these nodes. I'll click the comment as well. Press Control C, and then I'll go across to the combat. Then when we are in combat, we can, level 1 combat. Just press Control V. So then we can go to this, and now we can create a variable. And now we could compile. We're still getting error, but at least we don't have an error on this. So you see we now have less errors now. Just the first person mesh. So we're making progress. So since this error is related to the first person mesh, what I'll just do is bypass this node. So I'll break this and press Control and connect this here. So I'll bypass that node. See, I removed that error there. So just one more error to fix. Press Alt and left click to break this. Compile. And I get rid of the error there. So we compiled and we save. So now if we go back to the level and press play, we can now go to the gun and we see can now pick up the gun. It's not attaching properly, but it's at least it's attaching, so we're making progress. So before we fix the attachment, let's just see if we could shoot. So we need to go back here. So what we do, we just go back to the arena shooter project and we need to find the controller BP. So what we'll do, we'll find the player controller here and double click and open this up. So what we'll do, we'll go to here, this part configures the part to shoot and so forth. So we select this. Well, we want this sequence node and the add weapon input mappings nodes. You select these nodes, well, all this information. Press Control C. Go back to here. So we are the project for the combat. So what we'll do, in fact, I'll just make this easy. I'll just go to World Settings and I'll find the controller. I'll double click and open this up. So it'll open up here. And we need to paste this. Just go down here. Control V, paste. So we can need to add a pin to connect this into the sequence. And we'll connect this pin to here. Well, we could rearrange this and fix the reroute nodes and so forth, but I'll just create a reroute node to make this look more presentable. So if we press compile, we see you have an error here. So we have that selected here. So we go down here and we select UI bullet counter, compile. So go here, create a variable, compile. So we get rid of that error and we save. There will also be a value missing in the input mapping context. Go up here, like this. Need to add IMC weapons. Compile, save, input mapping context for weapons. Now if you go to level and press play, we get a gun. Now we can shoot in the game, but the bullet counter UI is not showing up. So, I mean, we're making progress, but we need to fix that. So we are back in the shooter project here. There's supposed to be nodes that update the bullet counter. So that's the update HUD nodes here. Before we copy the nodes from the shooter project, we need to make sure an interface is not missing. So we need to go to the controller in the melee project. We need to go to the class settings for the implemented interfaces. Type BPI, supposed to have this one here with shooter, BPI underscore shooter. Select this. Now we can go to the arena shooter. We can copy these nodes and paste them in the other project, the combat project. So just paste them anywhere. We can compile and we can save. Now if we go to level and press play, so now we're seeing this yellow thing on the ground there. So I mean, we are making progress. You see the ammo is running down, but we are making progress. We are not shooting at the crosshair. We don't even have a crosshair. So I mean, I guess we have to fix that next. So in the combat project, go back to the character blueprint and you'll get this function, get weapon target location, and then double click to open it. Then we need to find the same function in the shooter project. So we'll go to the shooter project, shooter character. So we are in the shooter project here. We click here to open up interfaces. We see the function get weapon target location. Double click and open this. So we know we have to copy the nodes here. Highlight these things, press copy, go to the next project, the combat project, press Alt, press Control V. Let's have to connect this here. Compile, can't compile. Just save this. So this is using a first person camera, but we are in third person. So what we'll do, we'll drag this across as a get, and we press Control and drag this into here to connect this, or just delete this. Just align this like this, compile and save. So we are making progress. Or just delete this return node now because it already has one here. Compile and save. Now if we go to the level and press play, let's go and get the gun. So it looks like it's actually shooting at the crosshair, but we're not seeing the crosshair, but nevertheless, we are making progress. So let's go to the shooter project. And in the shooter project, we go to level. We need to get the game mode. Double click and open this. We'll copy these nodes that are connected to event begin play. Then we need to go to the combat project. Guess what? We'll have to go to the game mode. Double click and open this up. Well, click this open full blueprint editor. So just press Ctrl V and then I'll connect this. Compile. Okay, so for the class, click here, select UI shooter, compile, save, go to level, press play. Guess what? The crosshair is here now. So we are making progress. So the next thing we want to do is see the weapon in our character's hand. So believe it or not, right about now, the weapon really is attached to the character's hand, but we're not seeing it like that. So what we'll do, we'll go to content draw. We'll go to variant shooter. So in variant shooter, we'll go to pickups. We'll select this one, BP shooter weapon base. We'll double click and open it. Then we will select the third person mesh. So in a details panel, scroll down and we want to go by advanced. Not, I'll just search for it in up back here. First person primitive type. That's the variable we want to change here. We'll change this to none. Compile and save. Now go to the level, press play. Now let's go and pick up the rifle. So now the rifle is visible, so I'm making progress. So I mean, we are making a lot of work, a lot of progress. But we are still shooting from the first person mesh location. So we need to address this. So to fix that, we go back to the BP shooter weapon base. We select the first person mesh and we can type visible. We'll hide the visibility. Compile and save. Then what we'll do next, I'll take off this. We'll right click and find references by name. So select get first person weapon. Double click this. Okay, so we can see what is actually using this. You know what? I want to go down here, calculate bullet spawn transform, double click this, and I want to replace this with the third person mesh. So take the third person mesh here and connect this. So I'm no longer using it first person mesh. Compile and save. Now if you go to the game and press play, you pick up your rifle here. And now we are shooting from the first person weapon. I mean, this could be improved, but we are shooting from the weapon. Now we have a problem when you move left and right, our upper body rotates, but we want to always face forward. So you can address this. So we'll fix this in the animation blueprint. So what we'll do, we'll go back to we'll go to weapons, we'll get the rifle blueprint and open it up. Click open full blueprint editor. Then we go here to locate the third person animation blueprint. So double click and open this up. Then we'll go to the anim graph. So double click here to open the anim graph. In the layered blend per bone, once this is selected, select mesh space bound rotation, compile and save. Now go to level and you can press play and you realize that we solved the previous issue. Now look at this. If we aim up and we aim down, the animations don't really match because it's set up right now for the first person. So we need to address this. So we'll go to the animation blueprint. We'll drag this pitch end variable, drag from here and add a multiplier. So I think we could just press X. Well, on the keyboard, I press the multiply sign. So we add a multiplier like that. And then connect this to here. But we can try a value of like, let's say 0.6. Compile and save. Now go to level and press play. Can go and get the cursor and move up, you can move down. So you're making progress. So next thing we'll do is go back to the controller blueprint. So we need to go back to the mapping context that we are using. We need to add the melee input. So double click and open this. Go back to the controller. We need to find the original node that adds the melee input. So that will be this one here. Click this. We can open this up. And in the mappings, we can see an input action combo attack. We need to add this to the new mapping. So go to weapons, go to mappings, click this, input action combo attack, and save. Then you can open up here. Now, since the left click is for shooting, I can map the combos to the E key. So I'll press the E key, but sometimes you might want to use, let's say, the middle mouse key, but your choice is yours. We'll save. So now let's go to the game and press play. Press E, so we know we can melee. Now if you pick up the weapon and press E, we can't melee after picking up the weapon. The issue would be the new animation blueprint that you switch to when you pick up the weapon. So we'll go here to the BP combat character, that blueprint. This function, all right, we need to go, let's go to the event graph. Let's go to the mesh. And you will click this to open, no, you click here to open the animation blueprint, but this will allow us to find the animation blueprint. You can double click to open this up. So essentially we'll have the both animation blueprints open up. So I just close the input mapping context here. Double click and open the animation graph. Go to here, and if it's the default slot, what is supposed to be a default slot. Go to the rifle, Your rifle's supposed to have a default slot. Yeah, so in the Mani Combat animation blueprint, it has this default slot node. If you go to the animation blueprint, you do not see that default slot, so we need to create it. So we can go here, right click, type default slot. So you could either copy and paste the default slot, or you could just right click and create it, but I choose to right click and create it. And can compile and save. Now we can go here, can press play, press E, we can melee, pick up the weapon. We can still melee after picking up the weapon. So this is good. And we can even shoot and melee. So you might want to have an option. I find this is fine. We can shoot and melee, but sometimes, depending on the game you're playing, you want the player to either melee or shoot. So you can configure such settings. So I notice some kind of camera lag while we are moving and when we are shooting. So we need to go back to the character BP and address this. So I'll go to the character blueprint. I'll select the camera bloom and I'll scroll along. In the details panel, I want to disable the camera lag. So I'll click this, compile and save. I'll save here as well. So you can also adjust the mouse sensitivity. So I need to find the mouse lock event. I think it's up here. Yeah, that's it here. So what I'll do, I'll drag on the X and I'll add a multiply. So type M on the keyboard. Well, not M, but the multiply sign on the keyboard. And I'll connect this to the X. I'll do the same for this. Drag from here, type multiply, and then connect this. Compile and save. And then I'll create a new literal float to control both variables. So make literal float. This is optional, eh? You don't really have to control this. Put a value here. I put a value of 0.5. Compile and save. So now we can create the logic to stop shooting in the melee attacks. So when we are doing a melee attack, we will not be able to shoot at the same time. So we are in the blueprint for our character. We go to the class settings and we can see the implemented interfaces here. We'll go to this interface here because this interface BPI weapon holder has the logic whether or not we can shoot on every attempt. So I'll click and open this up. So it carries me to this blueprint interface right here. So we'll add a function. We call this B, well, command B, can fire. We'll compile and save, and then we'll create an output. We'll give the output the same name, P can fire. Compile and save. So now we can go back to the blueprint for our character. We can now see the function that was created in the blueprint interface right here. So we'll double click and open this. We'll drag this across here. Now, if we go to the variables, the combat template is supposed to have variables if you're attacking. Or these are the variables down here. So we have melee attack is attacking. So in melee, so in the variables, when melee attack, we go in charge, can bring across this variable is attacking, get is attacking, we'll do a not boolean. So basically we are not attacking. So if we are attacking, we should not be able to shoot. Can compile and save. Then we'll go to this blueprint, PP shooter weapon base. We need to find the firing event. So we need to go to the event graph and find the firing event. So that start firing here. That start firing, stop firing. So this is fire, okay. You can create a note for get order. So you can use this, duplicate this one here. Okay, let's right click, type get owner. So just get owner here. I'll delete this for now. And let's call the can fire. Can fire. And then from here, we'll create another branch. So what we'll do, we'll just rearrange it like this. We will connect this, so press Control, left click, drag this here, then connect it through into here. So this is not really a completed node. What you need to do next, I could barely see this. It connect the can fire condition here. So what we need to do is connect the false if you're on full auto. So we need to connect the false to here. So what I'll do, because this is kind of difficult to see, I'll connect the false to here. And then I'll send this back. And then I'll just make some reroute nodes to rearrange this. So we can come. Okay, so where is the problem? Get pawn owner. What I'll do is duplicate this node. So press Control D, get owner, and I'll connect this instead. I'll delete this. Then I'll compile, save. And then if you go to level, I can press play. See, we have the guns here we could shoot. Melee. And after I press melee, I can shoot again. So there you have it. I mean, this is working. What you can do as well, you can make the weapon disappear when you're pressing the attacks. But I want to see the weapon when you're actually doing the melee attacks, especially if you have the weapon in your hand. So I'm not going to remove the weapon. So generally, this is the objectives. You achieve the objectives of this video here. So we have successfully combined the combat and shooter templates. So I'll end this video here. Thank you.
That is it for this lecture. Do you want to learn more? Like and subscribe. You can also contact us, Impulse Response Enterprises Limited.